Good morning. After sleeping for like 6 hours, I'm feeling like the last thing I'm going to want to do, or the last thing my body's going to want to do, is go back to sleep. Even though now's the time to do it because it's like just after 3 o'clock in the morning. I've got to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to take the hour that it might take to actually eat something and like make something to take on the go and like have it ready so I don't have to like make it while I'm at work or eat it while I'm at work. Hopefully I can just get started and be ready at what amounts to 7 o'clock. It's like 7:02 to 7:32 or something. Why don't you just call it 7 to 7:30? For the door-to-door transit vehicle, or is it a freaking cab? The point is, door-to-door transit is taking me into work today, which on the one hand means an early work day, and that means starting early means making extra money apart from the 5 hours I always work. That's what my regular shift is. On the other hand, it also means I lose an hour at home, maybe even 2 hours at home, because I didn't have any choice. Door-to-door transit is taking me home, too. That part, my goal, as quickly as possible, is to take door-to-door transit out of taking me home. It's too scary to ask them to take me home. From that workplace, like I said on Monday, when I'm giving them the map, at least they have something to look at. When they're trying to find me and there's no one there to direct them, there's no map, I just have to count on them to read and understand the notes in the manifest. I can't necessarily trust the random driver to go to the right door. But let's call this like it is. I don't find it easy to trust anyone, period. I always am living in fear when it comes to counting on people who I'm not as familiar with or who are not as familiar with the place. There are only a few people that I really trust to pick me up and know how to do it. That's my preferred ride service, who is not available today at all, my relative, who had another commitment this afternoon, and my one friend from the church I used to go to, who also had another commitment this afternoon. I have a tiny circle of people to call on, and when those people are not available, I must work with people that I don't feel comfortable working with. In a perfect world, I could expand that list to where I had maybe more people that I could teach this place to. Now, of course, no one's going to know it when they first get there, but if they can say, take a picture of the map and keep it in their phone if they're one individual, or maybe if I can send a picture of the map somehow to them and they can include it in their notes if they are a more public entity. What makes it tricky is, from what I understand, a supervisor has already come to my workplace from door-to-door transit and kind of mapped things out, but that was valid when we were using that door. Since the site evaluation, they have switched me to the other door that is closer to my workstation, which on the one hand, when I get to that door, I know exactly, drop me off at that door and I know where I'm going. I don't need anyone to meet me. I know where I'm going. However, that also means that nothing that was specified at the site evaluation means anything anymore. And when you explain it to one driver or even 10 drivers, that doesn't make it so that the other 2,500 drivers who work for that Tri-County Transportation Organization know what the hell they're doing. And when it comes to being picked up from the place, when it comes to being picked up just about anywhere, I don't know if it's ever happened. I'm guessing it's happened sometime in the 18 years I've been working with this organization. And or maybe I just worry that it's going to happen because I worry that it's going to happen. I'm afraid that they will go to the wrong door, spend 5 minutes waiting at the wrong door, not be able to find me, and then leave. Because when you're dealing with door-to-door transit, you have 5 minutes to connect with the driver, and if you don't get out there fast enough, their ass is out. They have a lot of people to be picking up, and they don't hang around. They'll no-show you. I want more people or more entities that know the place. Again, obviously, when I bring them in the first time, they're not going to know the place, but if I could get all the drivers in that organization, or 10 or 20 individuals who have taken a picture of the map and kept it in their phones, my preferred ride service can tell me we can't help you at all, and I could go down the list until I could find someone. In the real world that we live in, that doesn't exist yet. So wish me luck today, both ways. And I'm going to vlog it, and hopefully everything works out. And if it doesn't, you'll understand what I'm going through. Like I said on Monday, I'm going to vlog this stuff so that you guys understand what I'm going through. I'll talk to you probably when I get that phone call telling me. It's either going to say, your ride should be arriving within the next 15 minutes. That's what I want to hear. Or it could say, the window for your ride is... As soon as they say, your window for your ride is... That's just... They don't even have to finish. I already know how the rest of it's going to go. We couldn't... You reserved it with us, but we didn't have the capacity to pick you up at the last minute. We shoved you off to the local cab company. Here's their number in case you need it. I don't need it. I know what their number is. It's easy enough. That's one of the very few phone numbers. It's so easy. I just know it like the back of my hand. I wish I could say the same for one of my phone numbers. But I'm really hoping that instead it says your ride should be arriving within the next 15 minutes, because at least that means it's one of their people. I did end up going back to bed. I did end up falling back to sleep. Now it's time to be up and going, and it would be so easy for me to just lay here for longer. But I won't. I can't let myself. If I didn't have the work ethic I had, it would be so easy on a day like today for me to just make up some story and text my boss and say I wasn't coming in. But I've never had a conscience that would allow me to do that. That's just not me. I'd rather face the fact that there's no reason not to go in and go in than make up a reason not to, text out, and spend the whole day that I should be working thinking I could have gone in if I'd wanted to. It's not like I'm sick. It's not like it's cold out there, but it's not like there's a big difference between cold and 10 feet of snow on the ground. I can't in good conscience not go in, so I'm going in, and that means I can't just lay around. I don't want to get up and face the day, but I'm going to, because once I face it, it's going to be a good day, and if I don't face it, I just won't feel good from a conscience, ethical standpoint. This is why you always do this over the sink, because you never know where the hell the water's going. And if it's going to not go in the cup, it needs to at least go someplace where it can be and not make a mess or hurt you. Or this propensity for it to not go in the cup is annoying, but and it's kind of tricky to find the right amount of liquid in the cup. To be enough to dissolve this stuff and yet not be so much that when you try to stir it, you can't mash it down because you're not able to make contact with it because it's so full of water that you can't make contact with it. Am I making any sense? That could call it any minute. Well, maybe I'll be able to eat some of this. Or maybe it'll at least be popped. Either way, it's a step above Monday. As far as what I can do before I can start work. Oh, and by the way, on Monday I told you that story about how my insurance was being a troublemaker and refusing to cover this medication. They finally decided once and for all to cover it, so I was able to get... I called the pharmacy one more time yesterday. I said, I know we've been having trouble with the insurance company, but especially after you texted me or your assistant texted me and said, refill your prescription. Yeah, it's definitely time to refill it, and it's past time to refill it. You couldn't refill it earlier because of insurance problems. And can we refill it now? So they tried one more time. This time it went through. So I've still got the melatonin. And this happens every year. I really don't want to have to deal with this again next year. I don't know. I've got a year to think about it some more and decide if I want to keep fighting this or talk to my doctor again and tell her, this experience has confirmed how much easier it is to get melatonin than to get what's in this? Why do we keep fighting for it? Can melatonin work just as well? Or how complicated might it be to just let it lapse? Start the melatonin, and if it doesn't work, try to, go back on the medication. I wonder what would be harder, to do that or keep fighting the process every year of the insurance saying, well, we don't really want to cover it. The doctor's like, but guys, this is what it's doing for her. Well, okay, I guess we will. No, we're not covering it. Oh, well, yeah, we will. Now if only my other insurance company would get it together and pay their provider, my mental health care provider. The fact that it's less than 15 minutes before the window's supposed to start and they haven't called me yet is, I think, a good sign. It implies that it really could be one of the actual door-to-door transit vehicles that'll come. You know, I think the reason why, someone asked me recently, well, why do you complain about a cab? At least you got a straight ride there. Well, I guess I'd rather drive around for a while with someone who potentially knows the place or someone who is willing to look at the map and can figure it out than go straight there with someone who's never been there in their lives and who I have to say what I know to say and hope it makes sense to him, which is what I often get at the cab company. I mean, my workplace isn't exactly a common place for most people to go to. If I worked at a vet clinic or a human pharmacy like Walgreens, if I worked at a place like Walgreens, I probably wouldn't have anything to worry about. There'd really only be one door. I do believe there's only one door at Walgreens. And everybody goes to Walgreens. But I don't think Walgreens does the same kind of services that we do. I mean, they're a pharmacy, we're a pharmacy. But how many envelopes does Walgreens mail out with medications in them? I mean, you go to Walgreens to get your bottle of medicine. You don't go to Walgreens to pick up your one dose of medicine. And, I mean, we do that at our place, too. Create bottles of pills. But, folks, that's not my job. That's my coworkers' jobs. Because you have to know more about pharmaceuticals than I do to be able to use our pill machines and count out pills. I mean, I don't think we do it by hand. I think we've got a pill counter machine thing. I have a unique job, and I've got to go to a unique place to do it. Unfortunately, that makes it a place that not everyone knows how to get to. So I'm never quite sure when I get my vehicle picking me up, especially if it's a cab driver, whether they're going to know how to get me where I need to go. Fortunately, the last one figured it out. As nervous as I got, but I literally never know.
This is an automated message regarding trip information. Your ride should be arriving within the next 15 minutes.
Thank you. That's the kind of message I like.
7:02 a.m. and 18 seconds.
That means it'll be here at about 7:17. And I'm going to put this away and eat the rest of it when I get to work, like at 12 o'clock. See, this is the best way to start a work day. Everything ready. And what would make it great is if my preferred ride service would call me, like, between now and, say, noon, and say, Hey, we've had a cancellation, and we can pick you up after all and take you home. You want us to? To which my answer, of course, would be, yes, I would love for you to. Thank you so much. And that could happen. It could. Let's hope it does. I would love to cancel this ride home and get it from someone who I have trained to go to the right place. It's either going to work out that way or it's not. Let's hope it does. I could just stay in here, but I think I'm going to go ahead and go outside and wait. Because again, they don't, when it comes to this entity, they don't call me on their, they don't take out their phones and call me when they get here. They either expect you to be outside or I think they have it in their notes to call me, but by call me, I mean call on the security system of the building. But sometimes I just go ahead and head outside anyway, and this is going to be one of those times. Because door-to-door transit drivers just don't use their cell phones to call people. But since I know it's one of their fleet on the way, I kind of know what I'm listening for if I stand out here and wait. Actually, I guess they're a little bit delayed because they were supposed to be here at 7:17 according to that, and it's 7:20 something. But I'm sure they'll be here in a minute. Is that them? I think that's them. I'll know it when they talk to me, which you will not hear, but yeah, I think that's them. Okay, as far as getting in there, I'm pretty confident this was a good communicative person who admitted she didn't think she had ever been to this place before. And so I said, well, I've got something that I'd like you to have on the way there, and she was willing to take it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. See, on Monday the guy didn't even want it. I mean, he took one look at it and said, okay, well, take it back. And I'm like, ugh, okay, I hope you really don't need it. And I guess telling him about the landmark was enough for him, but today this should go well. Now, if only, like I said, my preferred ride service would get a cancellation and be able to pick me up to take me home, it would be perfect after all. It could still happen. There's about 4 more hours before I'd need to, well, technically there's like 5 hours 5.5 hours before it would be too late for them to call me and let me know that. But the earlier you can cancel a door-to-door transit ride, the better. We'll see what happens. Well, actually, it probably was me, because I used to use one. In April of this year, the decision was made that since I work all the way back here, I really need to be using this door. So it probably was me. And it's right at 8 o'clock, and I just got here. 8 at home, ready to start. I'm going to pick up a whole extra hour today. Awesome. All right, I'll talk to you when either I've heard from my preferred ride service that they've had a cancellation like the day of, or when I haven't, and it's all about going home now. I don't even know how to ask my team for help. Because the truth is, I don't think there's anything that they can do that will really make me feel at ease about this situation. What I wish someone could do is just stand with me and keep an eye out and, like, let me know, like, be there with me to let me know what they're seeing, or be there with me watching out, and then have somebody at the other door standing there watching. And frankly, that feels like too much to ask. I really wish this call would come in, but it's already 10:30 and it hasn't yet. And let's be real about it. How often does it happen that my preferred ride service isn't available and then at the last minute they are? Not as often as they say they're not available and then they're really not available. It's happened a couple of times that they became available around now or before now. But what happens more often is they say, "I'm sorry, we don't have you covered." And then they never call and say, "Actually, yeah, we do." The alternative plans end up being the way I get where I need to be. Alright, I'm on break. And I am in fact going to stop this vlog now. And part 2 will be the saga of getting home. It'd be nice if it would be a quick one and everything would work out, but unless there's an 11th hour miracle, it probably won't be. Thank you for listening to this audio-centric video. Check out the description box below, and you'll hear me in the next video. Bye.